To a degree, I think if you're in that situation, real world, and you're at the front of the green at Clitheroe and the green's quite wet, and you're in a bit of squidgy ground, you throw it as far up as you want, make a full swing. The longer the swing, the more of a weight transfer you're making towards the target. You're tightening the radius because of the length of swing and the type of transition that you make. So the chances of hitting the ground behind the ball are reduced anyway.
Yeah.
This is more about you learning to manage your variables, right? So 50-degree wedge, 9-iron, 6-iron. Now, let's say the scenario is we're on wet ground, we're trying to play a low-running shot, and you're the guy who plays every shot around the greens with his wedge, right? He's going to put the ball back in his stance because he thinks, right, wet ground, low shot, I'm going to make good contact. But the problem now is he's got a very steep angle of attack and a leading edge that's been exposed to the ground. So if he's slightly out, he's going to whiff this thing straight in front of him. So he needs to help that club come out of its descent, and he needs to manage the low point. So one way of playing that shot would be a wedge or lofty club, ball back in the stance, handle forward. We've now created about 43 degrees of loft on that golf club, and it comes out on a certain flight that's going to run up a green. Another way of playing it will be with your 9-iron. Now, with a 9-iron, we've now got not too far off the loft that we've just created. We're thereabouts, aren't we? 45 degrees-ish. Modern pitching wedge come out anywhere between 42 and 44, aren't they? So 9-iron is not too far off. So now we can play it pretty standard ball position, which means we're not coming in as steep, which means the leading edge is not as exposed, which means if we bottom out behind the ball, it's going to be a little bit more forgiving. So the feeling then would be pretty standard, comes out on a very similar fly. Now, you wouldn't probably play it to this extent, but another way of doing that shot, very wet ground, don't want the club to engage the ground at all, but I still need to get the ball coming out pretty flat, is take a far less lofty club, move the ball forward in my stance. Now I'm coming in super shallow, I'm not going to dig in the ground, that's for sure. The only thing I've got to guard against is catching it a little bit thin, isn't it? So I just make sure that I control the centre of the arc, and I didn't do this too much. Now I've got to try and, rather than bring the club out of its descent, I've got to encourage the club to bottom out near where the ball is. So I've got ball forward, face could be open a little bit, very similar trajectory, again using a 6-iron, so lofted wedge, 9-iron, 6-iron, and just managing your variables. You wouldn't play it with that club, but as the club gets more straight-faced, in that situation when the ground's wet, you're digging in less. So you can get away with a little bit more. You want the club coming in almost just like skimming the top of the surface, don't you?